In this video clip, I will be explaining the upgrade and migration strategy from an Attix5 version 5.1 storage platform to a version 6 storage platform. I would like to begin by elaborating on my version 5.1 configuration, while pointing out what I've done to prepare for the upgrade to version 6. Later, I will explain in some detail about the processes that take place as data is migrated to the new version. My current storage platform consists of a name server, file server, and mirror server. I'm running the latest version 5.1 installation. Any storage platforms running earlier versions will need to be upgraded to version 5.1 prior to the version 6 upgrade. Before I upgrade, I'm going to install the SQL and .NET components. Installing version 6 will not be possible without .NET, and you will be directed accordingly if you do not have a local instance of SQL installed, as it is possible to specify a separate database server from the storage platform. I'm going to install .NET and use a local instance of SQL. Both of these components are available for download from the Attix5 website. Additional preparation tasks prior to upgrading include: check to see that the server meets the minimum hardware requirements. The hardware required to support a minimum storage platform with the account server and single storage server will depend on the number of users, size of the data to protect, and the frequency and transmission rates of their backups. Please see the storage platform installation manual for a guideline based on your requirements. The minimum software requirements are Windows Server 2003 or 2008 with either 32 or 64-bit support. As a general rule, 1 GB of memory should be available per CPU or CPU core. Resource management. Do not run antivirus scans during the upgrade, as they are very resource intensive. Also, exclude the Attix5 Pro Data folder and the Attix5 SQL database folder from antivirus scanning. General platform preparation. Any orphaned accounts that are not a member of any group need to be dealt with prior to the upgrade. Check to see if any backup clients are running plugins that will require .NET to be installed before they can be upgraded, for example SharePoint. Check that all consoles are closed to prevent conflicting settings between versions 5.1 and 6. All clients that previously had SSL connections disabled should either be re-enabled manually via profiling or by updating to the latest client version. Check that all groups enabled for client auto-update are set up correctly. It is wise at this point to allow for rollback if any problems are encountered during the migration process. This can be done by stopping the mirroring process to preserve its state before performing the upgrade. Now we can begin the upgrade process. All I have to do is to run the installation file to begin the storage platform installation wizard. The installation will start by searching for any existing Attix5 storage platform installation and associated services. You'll be prompted to provide an installation location that needs to be different to the existing location. I'm going to accept the default location on the C drive. The required files are then copied to the storage platform, and you are prompted to begin the data migration and configuration process. All of the currently active version 5.1 services are detected and selected by default for migration. Accounts are checked to ensure that they belong to valid version 5.1 file servers and that none are orphaned. With this complete, select Next to continue. Provide your version 6 product key, and once this has been verified with the Attix5 license server, you will be able to select the Next button. You are now prompted to provide your connection settings for the SQL server and database. Use the default settings for a local instance and click Next to create the databases. Enter a strong admin master password and select Next to configure the advanced binding settings. The same settings as previously used will be configured by default. Should you wish to modify your storage platform internal or external IP addresses or port numbers, this can be done here. Click on Next to view the summary page and then Apply to begin the migration. After the migration is completed, check the status of the Attix5 services to ensure they are running. console access can now be made to the storage platform. The file server to storage server conversion happens in several phases that can be viewed and monitored from the console. Let's take a look at those phases in more detail. Phase 1, the installation process. In most cases, the installer will leave the backup data untouched unless it is installed in the default location on the C drive. In this case, the installer will simply rename the top-level folder to reflect the new path. The program files Attix5 Backup Professional Server Data LB Data folder will be renamed to Program Data Attix5 Pro SS Service Data. Data in any custom folder like f:\data or from one drive letter to another will never be moved in Phase 1. Phase 2, first startup or Level 1 upgrades. When the storage server starts for the first time, it will perform Level 1 upgrades. These upgrades rename the backup account folder to a GUID. This is provided by the account server. These upgrades only take a few seconds, but if any clients attempt to back up before this has completed, then the backup will be aborted and the clients will retry after 60 seconds. Phase 3 upgrades involve data folder restructuring and are called Level 2 upgrades. As this phase requires the encryption key, it will not begin until the client does a backup, a restore, or key check with a storage platform. A Level 2 upgrade is the restructuring of the backup data from the version 5 format of a single subfolder with many buckets to the version 6 format of a single bucket containing all data. On large storage servers, this process can take some time, with the number of concurrent upgrades limited to the number of processor cores. In most cases, there will be a lot of disk activity during this time, so servers with faster disk access will complete this upgrade sooner. During the process, only pre-indexed backups will be allowed to run. That is, those backups that transmit data while compressing and patching is still running. Other normal backups will be placed on hold until the account's Level 2 upgrade has completed. During this phase, duplicate files are filtered out and a little extra disk space is used during the conversion process. Phase 4, the first roll-up. The first roll-up of an account's data involves not only the application of patches, but the re-encrypting of full, unchanged files using AES rather than Blowfish that was used in version 5. It also involves the removal of any duplicate files across accounts using global single instance storage. While this process does not place a heavy load on the server, backups and restores can continue as normal with only one roll-up running at a time. While extra disk space is required to run the roll-up, once it is completed, there will be more free space on the storage server with deduplication. That concludes this clip on migrating from version 5.1 to version 6. If you are running a distributed version 5.1 environment or would like to see additional demonstrations and tutorials, please go to www.attix5.com or email us at info@attix5.com.